Hello, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to today's episode of Modesty's Money Masterclass. This is season 2, episode number 22. How are we all doing today? I hope we are all doing well. I hope we're all doing fine. And I hope our Mondays are all going well so far. You see, yesterday was Father's Day. Hey! Finally, the year came around. The time of the year came around when we were recognized as fathers, and it was a proud moment for me, a proud day for me yesterday. My son had his first Holy Communion yesterday, and then it was Father's Day as well yesterday. But then it wasn't. It didn't go as well as I thought it would go, simply because. The church I attended yesterday, they didn't even make any mention of Father's Day. The priest didn't even mention that it's Father's Day. I mean, just recognizing fathers and recognizing Father's Day. It didn't happen. I waited all through the service and it didn't happen. So I went home kind of feeling, doesn't mean we don't matter in this church. Doesn't mean we don't matter in this church. How come nobody even dared to talk about Father's Day? In church yesterday? I was a bit disappointed. I'm thinking, hey, when it's Mother's Day, it's trending on social media, it's trending in the church. Every church is, awash with Mother's Day feelings and Mother's Day buzz. Why? I felt like we're being discriminated against. I felt like protesting yesterday. But you know what? My family made it special for me. My family made me feel so very much valued and appreciated. And that meant a lot more to me than anything else. So even if the church did not bother to recognize us, my family recognized me. My children made it special. My lovely wife made it special. And hey, can you see what I'm putting on? That is my Father's Day gifts, right? Courtesy my wife and my children. And then they took me out and they spoiled me. Right? They basically, fed me, looked after me, pampered me, made me feel like a king. And yes, you can call me King Ikenna because I am the king. I reign. So thank you so much to my lovely wife and my family for making me feel so special. And I wish all the fathers out there who are working hard day and night, toiling day and night to put food on the table of their family, I wish you all the best in your endeavors. And hey, know that you all rock. Sometimes it might feel like our efforts are not recognized and appreciated, but trust me, they are recognized and they are appreciated. And in due course, it's gonna pay off. It always does. Just keep doing what you're doing, keep being who you are, and keep working as hard as you can always work. All right. So today we're gonna be talking about something that fathers are interested in talking about, and we are talking about money. Okay, so on this season 2, episode number 22 of our Modesty's Money Masterclass, we are going to be talking about chasing versus attracting money, right? So this is something that, it's a topic that a lot of people have always, in most cases, not really understood what the difference is and how to compare those two approaches. So today we're going to try as much as we can to do justice to it, right? But I want to make it clear that this particular topic is not something that it's not something that is closed, right? It is open to discussion. And the points I'm going to mention here is not something that I'm going to say, yes, that's the only points that exist, or those are the only points that exist. You can as well add to that discussion, to that conversation. You might agree, you might disagree. Come to Facebook, come to our group on Facebook, on Modesty's Money Masterclass Facebook group, and then make a point, make your contribution. We want to hear from you. We want you to be part of that conversation. We want you to be part of the discussion around this chasing versus attracting money. What do you think? What do you feel? How do you see the whole thing? Let's know what you think. Okay? So when we talk about chasing versus attracting money, we all need money in our lives. We need money to survive. We need money to succeed. We need money to live our daily lives. Money is very vital to everything we do. But then how to bring that money into our pockets, into our bank accounts, into our coffers, there are different approaches to that. And that's where the issue of chasing versus attracting come in. While there are people who chase, and they really had to chase to get that money into their account, into their pockets, some attract the money, by attracting the people who have the money. Okay, so they look, while the chasers are chasing the money, those who are attracting the people who have the money. And when they attract the people who have the money comes with the people who attract the money. So that's the two outstanding differences between chasers and those who are attracting. The chasers are focused on the money, and they are going directly to the source of the money, and they want to get the money. So, and they are willing to pay whatever price it takes to get the money directly. But then the people who are attracting know that, yes, they need the money, but they are looking for the people who have the money. And when they see people who have the money, they do what they need to do to attract those people to themselves, and the people come with the money, and then they pay them that money. So these are the two categories, and these are the two approaches that people take in getting money into their coffers. And then that's what we're going to be exploring today. Now, chasing money basically means that you are really running after money. You are running after it because of certain reasons that are peculiar to you. And there are different reasons people are running after money. There are different reasons people are listening out for where the opportunity to take money is, and they run after it. Right? Because, so those reasons, we are going to explore them now, so that you know where exactly you fall under. And like I said, the list here is not inexhaustible, right? It is a list that can be expanded upon by your views and by your sentiments and by your feelings and by your opinions. And we are really, really keen on hearing them and hearing from them. So first of all, why do people chase money? Number one is the desire to satisfy basic needs. Okay? Basic needs of feeding, of clothing, of housing, of heating, and all the stuff. People need to satisfy these basic needs. So the fear of not being able to satisfy those basic needs drive them into chasing. So therefore, they are happy to mortgage their time in order to be paid some money. Right? They are happy to sacrifice something in order to get this money into their account so they can satisfy those basic needs. So satisfying those basic needs means that, okay, I don't mind doing 2 shifts in a day. I don't mind doing 2 jobs in a day. I don't mind doing some overtime in a day. I don't mind, working and earning below what I know I'm worth, but that's fine as long as it puts money into my pocket. I don't mind tolerating, very nasty boss as long as he pays me. When we were in Nigeria, there was this saying that people normally, I will use my local dialect to say it. Yeah, and then I'm going to interpret it in English. So they used to say, "Onyo chakbo me idiot, me akwo." So it means, I don't mind the white man calling me an idiot as long as he pays me my salary or my wages. So that used to be the mentality of people, which means they don't mind, taking on the insults. They don't mind being called an idiot as long as they get paid. So when I was discussing with my brother some time ago, and he made that statement, he said, "Nah, I said to him, no, sorry, I don't agree. Idiot. So I said, the white man doesn't have to call me an idiot before he pays me. I can't take it because, of the difference in my skill. It's an inferiority complex kind of feeling. So sometimes that's the mentality of chasers, right? They don't mind what's whether it's insulting, whether it's degrading, as long as they get the money into their pockets. because they really need to satisfy these basic needs. So people go out of their way to do things that, even if it's inconveniencing, but as long as the money comes into their pocket, that's their way of doing it. The second reason that people chase money is ignorance. I'm not saying that people who are working are ignorant. The ignorance I'm talking about here is ignorance of how money works, right? The ignorant. Oh, sorry, somebody said the sound is lost. 1 second. Let me see if I could. Is that better now, Bunna? Or is it still lost? Yeah, please let me know if you can hear me clearly now. Is that better? Okay, so the second reason is ignorance. Ignorance of how money works. Ignorance of financial education. When you don't really have enough financial education and you're not very conversant with the way money works, you tend to go about your activities around money the wrong way around. So if you do not have enough financial education, if you're not empowered enough to be able to overcome money, you go about chasing money, because then it is coming from a place of you not really knowing, how to go about it. But the more informed you become about money and how money works, the more strategic your actions are going to be in terms of capturing money. So ignorance is one reason why people spend a lot of time chasing money, right? And because that is the only way they know. If you don't know a better way of doing something, you can only rely on the only way you know. And the only way you know might be the right way, it might be the wrong way. So when people rely on the only way they know, and that is the only way they know, they tend to be ignorant of other alternatives available to them. And the only thing that opens up those alternatives to you is knowledge. The more knowledge you acquire about money and how it works and financial management, the more alternatives it opens up to you, and then you begin to see opportunities where you thought opportunities didn't exist. Number 3 reason that people chase money is desperation. When people run out of time and options, they settle for anything. When they run out of time and options, they settle for it. When people are desperate to get to a certain point, they are ready to do whatever it takes to get there. And that's why some people come here, maybe people who come from Nigeria, they come to the UK to study. And then because they are desperate, maybe to impress or to make a quick impression to their people back home, some of them even contemplate, deferring their studies or abandon the studies completely because they've seen the flash of a few pounds. So they sell their future benefits on a plate of porridge of very present temporary benefits. And trust me, I nearly fell into that trap when I came to this country. I'm telling you from personal experience. I nearly fell into that trap. The desperation to make an impression back home nearly made me defer my studies, by one year, to say, oh, okay, I can continue this. Let me just take maybe 1 year and, sort myself out financially, see if I can grab as much money. Then I was chasing. And then I spoke to a very good friend of mine who helped me, when I came here. And he said to me, Ken, don't try it, right? Focus on your studies. You see these pounds you're chasing here and there now. You will have more than enough of it. When you get your studies done, grab your qualification. The reason you are in this country is to study. Never forget that. Get that degree first. Get that study out of the way. You will have more than enough time to chase, to make money. And I listened. And he said he was also telling me from personal experience that in his own case, it was a mistake he made. And he was generous enough to let me know that you shouldn't make the same mistake I made, because I am regretting doing it. If I hadn't done it, things would have worked out differently for me. I took that advice And I really, really thank God I took that advice and it worked well for me. So desperation could make people start chasing money without knowing that if they had taken their time to explore their options and being patient with things, there could be better ways of doing that. The other reason people chase money is inferiority. Because what you're chasing is what you feel inferior to. You feel inferior to money. You feel like money has more power over you. Therefore, you need to chase it to be able to bring it in. So you think about, when a man is after a woman and he wants to chase, all you want to do is to impress that girl. You want to impress that lady. You do everything you possibly can to give that girl the impression that you are equal to the task of either maintaining her, looking after her, loving her, adoring her, appreciating her. At that moment in time, you do not mind assuming a position of inferiority. The person who has the upper hand is the girl that you are really after. And until she succumbs to your, advances, you can go as long as possible it takes to assume a position of inferiority. If you're going to somebody to beg for a favor, the person that you're going to beg for that favor is superior to you in that instance. So if the person says, before you come into my house, take your shirt off. I don't want you to come into my house with your dirty shirt. Take your shoes off, take your socks off. Whatever the person says, you are ready to do because of desperation and inferiority. But if you feel that if you do not feel inferior to the thing you are chasing, then you have no reason chasing it. Because then you cannot be chasing something that you have superiority over. So inferiority is one reason why people are always chasing money, doing everything possible to see that they can bring money into their pockets, and they focus on that money because they feel money is superior to them. And the moment you have that feeling, you become a subject to that thing that you feel inferior to. Number 5 reason why people chase is debts. Debts. People who borrow a lot of money chase money a lot. Because first of all, they are starting from a position of negativity, right? So their balance, their financial management balance is starting from, a negative position. If they are highly indebted, they have to first of all make enough money to pay debts off because before they even start looking after themselves. So people who have too much debts work so hard, they work their socks off. Because they have to pay debts first before they even start to break even. So when you are starting from a position of negative financial balance, negative financial management balance, negative financial freedom balance, you have no choice than to chase because you're already playing catch up. Which is why I keep on saying on this channel, avoid debts as much as possible. Run away from debt as far as you can. Because the moment you get into debt and you keep getting deeper into debt, you are already starting from a position of a disadvantage. So you start playing catch up from that moment. Yeah? So people who are in debt already, they can do 3 jobs at the same time. They don't care about weekends. They don't care about bank holidays. If they hear that there is double pay available anyway, they grab it. Right? While others are thinking about going to relax and have a summer holiday and, having a good time, it's not for them because they have debts to pay. While others are thinking about having weekend and having family time, that's not what they are thinking about. The only thing preoccupying their mind is how to pay this debt. So wherever there is money and they hear the sound of money, they run. And sometimes they run into trouble chasing that money. It has led people into certain dubious, nefarious acts because they were desperate to pay their debts. They got involved in things that got them into more trouble. So if you stay away from debts, right, you have given yourself one good chance of not being a chaser of money. But the moment you get into debt, you become a chaser because no matter who you are, no matter what you do, you are chasing, you're playing catch up. So these are 5 reasons I've listed why people chase money. Now let's look at the implications of chasing money, right? Number 1 is that chasing money is tiring. Okay? Chasing is really tiring. Even physically chasing, when you're running after somebody, it's tiring. It involves a lot of energy. And let me tell you, chasing is both mentally and physically draining. Because sometimes you just come back from the rat race, you just come back from your chasing activity and you're physically drained. You have given everything you have, towards this money chase of a thing. And there is nothing left for you. You come back physically drained, you have no strength, no energy for the family, nothing left for the family, nothing left for the children. Mentally, you're drained because you're already thinking about the next chasing activity. Before you come back from the first shift, you're already looking for the next shift to book because you want to make sure you secure tomorrow's income. Because if you don't do that, tomorrow's income is not guaranteed because you always have to chase. It is tiring. Okay? And that's the truth of it because I have been there. I have been in a position where I was chasing, I was working Monday to Monday. I have been in that position. When I was studying, I was anytime I'm not in school, I'm at work because I had to chase. I had needs to meet. I had family expectations to meet. I had personal needs. I had external, family needs to meet. So I had to always be at work. I wasn't, and then when I have weekends, I used to do security work then. I would drive my car to a security site. I would stay there from Friday up until Monday. I would stay on site from Friday up until Monday. And when it's bank holiday, wow, that's like jackpot for me. Oh, double pay. I'm not thinking about my personal health. I'm not thinking about overworking myself. All I'm calculating in my head is what that double pay works out to be in pounds, in real money. And then you do all that, you come back, you're mentally drained, you're physically drained, and but that's what it is. So it's tiring. That's one implication. Number 2 is that chasing devalues you. A lot of the times when we chase things, you feel like you've lost sense of value. You lose sense of self-worth, especially when you're chasing money. Imagine when I have been in that position where I used to chase people around in Nigeria when I was selling insurance, right? You go to people's office and they keep you waiting for hours and hours. And then they come back and tell you, oh, sorry, I have to run now. Can you come back tomorrow? You feel so worthless. You've spent 3 hours in somebody's office who gave you an appointment waiting. And then they come out and they say, sorry, I've got to rush somewhere now. Come back tomorrow. 3 hours gone just like that. How are you going to feel? You feel worthless. So when you're chasing, when you're always in the habit of chasing money, you feel like you lose a sense of self-worth. You feel like it devalues you as a person sometimes because you sit down and you think, why do I have to take all these things? Why do I have to do all this work? Why? Sometimes the way you're spoken to, the way people value you, the way people talk to you, the way people treat you, you feel like this is not right. There is something not right about this. And then you sit back and you think, am I worth this much? Or am I worth more than this? That's one thing that chasing has done to me as a person when I used to chase. I remember when I used to run the African grocery shop that I used to run in Luton here. Some people's attitude towards me then was, well, you don't talk to me anyhow, because if you talk to me anyhow, I won't come to your shop and I won't patronize. So you kind of, even when you have something to say, you don't say, because you don't want to offend anybody. You don't want to offend those who you are relying on to actually come and patronize you. It keeps you kind of chained. It keeps you kind of trapped somehow. You lose a sense of value, a sense of self-worth, because then you are having to rely on people's goodwill to really survive. And I have been in that situation as well, where I felt devalued by the person I was working for. But then I had to carry on working because I couldn't say otherwise. I couldn't even complain. Yeah, because I was chasing. Now, number 3 implication of chasing is that it's not fulfilling. It doesn't give me sense of fulfillment when I am constantly on the chase. I am constantly on the phone speaking to agencies. When I used to do agency work, constantly on the phone, ringing around agencies, seeing if there is work available. Oh, it became so humiliating. On one day, I could not forget that. We were picked to go and work as agency staff in a factory where I was doing the factory work. And I went there, the people that I was working with, obviously people work at different speeds and abilities. I was not designed to be a factory worker. I'm not skilled to be a factory working on production lines at the speed. So I couldn't keep up with the speed of the production line. I think in that factory was a sandwich factory or something, and where they were packaging flowers. And the other guys who I was working with, they are more skilled in terms of working at the speed and pace of this factory line. But my pace was a lot slower. And then once we went on the first break, the supervisors came to me and they said, sorry, you've got to go home. I've got to go home? This is 2 o'clock in the morning. And I'm miles and miles and miles and miles away from my work. I didn't even come in my own car. We came in the agency bus. So what it means is that I had to sit in the staff room from that 2 o'clock in the morning until about 6 o'clock in the morning when the boss came to pick other people up. So I had only done about a couple of hours work, and that's the only thing they're going to pay me. And then I'm having to go back with the people at 6 o'clock in the morning because I was laid off halfway through the shift. So I've wasted the whole night. And imagine the feeling when I came home. I felt worthless. There was no sense of fulfillment because the only reason I was there was because I was chasing money. Right? So there's no sense of fulfillment when you are a chaser. When you are chasing things, you don't feel like, you are fulfilled when you are chasing it.